everyone, and welcome back to the Sugar Oven Studio. I'm Faisy the baker, and in today's video we are going to be making this homemade walnut cranberry cinnamon bread. This bread is just amazing in the mornings when it's baking. Your whole kitchen just smells delightful, and when you cut it open and take that first bite, it is just to die for. So let's get started. We're going to start out in a large bowl with 6 cups of flour. Now, this flour can be all-purpose flour or bread flour. In this video, I'm using bread flour. And in this, we are going to mix 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, and a 1/4 cup of sugar. And we're gonna whisk that all together. Now that this is all well mixed, I'm going to add a cup of cranberries and a cup of walnuts. And we're going to mix those in as well. So now that my walnuts and raisins are all mixed into the flour, I'm going to use 3 cups of room temperature water to turn this into a moist and shaggy dough. And if you need a little bit more of extra flour, that's totally fine. So I'm going to slowly mix my water in. I'm going to mix this part in first, and then I'll mix my other half. And then I'm going to add the rest of my water into here. And then we'll mix. So you're going to come to a point where the whisk won't be helpful anymore. Then you're going to take all of your dough off of your whisk and you're going to start mixing with your clean hands. So as you can see, our dough is becoming more and more moist and shaggy. Once again, you can always add more flour if it's too wet, but we're slowly getting to what we want. Here we have it, moist and shaggy. This is exactly where we want our dough to be. So I'm gonna get all of this dough off of my hands and we'll move on to the next step. Once your dough is ready, you're gonna go ahead and cover it tightly and we're gonna leave it overnight for it to rise. And make sure there's no air gaps at all. When your bread is all covered, you're just gonna leave it out in just room temperature. No need to put it in the fridge or anything, but it's just gonna rise overnight and you'll see. When you get up in the morning, the bread will be like up to the plastic. So I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, everybody. It's now time to bake our bread. As you can see, it's risen overnight and it's now doubled in size. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 450 degrees. This bread bakes in a Dutch oven, which if you don't have, you can get at your local Target or Amazon. So now that my oven is at 450 degrees, I'm going to put my Dutch oven without the bread into the oven so that it'll get preheated and hot for my bread, and it's going to stay in there for about 35 minutes. It's been 30 minutes, and I'm going to take my Dutch oven out of the oven. It's all heated up. It's time to now work on our bread on like just an empty countertop space. You're gonna flour it so that our bread doesn't stick when we shape it into our loaf. So I'm gonna uncover my bread and take it out of the bowl. So I'm shaping my bread into a round loaf. and I'm going to put it onto my parchment paper, just like that. And on the center, I'm going to make a cut right on top. And now we're going to take the bread and lower it by the parchment into our heated Dutch oven. There. Perfect. I'm going to put my lid back on my Dutch oven, and we're going to put this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. So my bread has been baking in the Dutch oven for about 30 minutes. There. Just going to take the lid off only of the Dutch oven, and then we're going to let this bake again with the lid off for about another 25 to 30 minutes. It's been 25 minutes, and as you can see, my bread is a deep golden brown. What you're gonna do now is you're gonna take your bread by the parchment and pick it up and put it onto a cooling rack where it'll cool for a while, and then you can peel off your parchment paper, cut it open, and enjoy your walnut cranberry cinnamon bread. My bread is now completely cooled, so I was able to take off all of the parchment, and as you can just see, it's just a beautiful golden brown, and when you tap it, it sounds hollow. So my bread took about 55 minutes in total, 30 minutes in the Dutch oven covered, and then 25 minutes with the lid off. And my kitchen just smells like heaven. So it's time for the taste test now. Ooh, look at that. This will be good with like butter and jam, but we're just gonna try just a bite of this delicious bread. This is just heavenly. So good. Thank you everybody so much for joining me at Sugar Oven Studio today to make this delicious walnut, cinnamon, and cranberry bread. I really hope that your family and friends enjoy this. Please subscribe and also visit my website www.sugarovenstudio.com. Thank you everybody. Bye. Thank you.